Right there, welcome back to the channel. New season vibe is kicking in. Everything's good, isn't it? Everything's nice. United started well. There's positivity going on. By the time we actually get to this game, we might have another player over the line. Hopefully. Brighton kicked off their season in pretty decent style under their new manager, putting 3 past Everton at Goodison Park. Everton fans not happy about how they performed, but Brighton fans pretty happy about how they performed. Obviously, United kicked off our campaign at home on Friday night against Fulham. We had Joshua Zirkzee coming off the bench and getting all 3 points for us with his goal. And we have won only one of our last 4 visits to Brighton. So it would be nice if we can get 3 points there tomorrow afternoon. I expect a much more tougher test than we got against Fulham in the first game, where we had quite a lot of it our own way, despite it taking us to the very end of the game to get that opening goal. Now, let's have a look at how Brighton play. Now, they were impressive against Everton, very confident in possession. They played out real nice, which is obviously something that they've kept from the Zirkzee days. They were snappy in the press. They were lethal on the counter-attack. And at his previous club, Hurzeler often did the following. He set up in quite a conventional 3-4-3. With the middle centre-half being a bit of a pivot in possession. They created a diamond by using the goalkeeper and 3 centre-halves, and the full-backs basically just went out the pitch and were very key to them escaping the press. Now, at Brighton, he hasn't deviated too much from what the players were used to under Zirkzee. The structural standpoint looks exactly the same. He's more so just putting in a little bit of his own flair to it, if you like. Now, he favours a high defensive line. I think basically what Brighton have gone and done is they've found someone who can coach what the team's sort of makeup is. And I think that's why they've been successful. When they brought in Zirkzee, what he did wasn't vastly different from Graham Potter. He had his own ideas in this area or in this area, but by and large, what he was asking the players to do wasn't chalk and cheese. There was obviously a lot of things that aligned, and it was more of a, okay, that's cool, but have we thought about doing this? And I think that's what they're getting with Hurzeler again. Now, like I said, he favours that high defensive line. He has attacking wing-backs that have an emphasis on real wide play. They're looking for cutbacks into the opposition area. It's a very aggressive system, and he looks for quite a high tempo passing movement in the final third. Looks to go up, back and through, looks to get a lot of one touch, looks to try and create overloads in different sections of the pitch. Off the ball, his St. Pauli side employed quite a high mid-block, and they would press with intensity on quite a few occasions, but they would block off that middle part of the pitch and have a real high line. And it's quite similar really with Brighton. Now, Brighton are going to set up in a pretty normal looking 4-2-3-1, but in reality, that new signing of Matt Wafer, who's a great player, I think is going to have a bit more of a holding role. You'll probably see James Milner push up alongside João Pedro, and it might look a little bit more like a 4-1-4-1. And moving away from a clear double pivot is quite an interesting choice from Hurzeler as well, I think, because it looks to place less emphasis on one of his midfield dropping into his own box to help the side play out from the goalkeeper. And he looks to try and get an extra man into midfield during a build-up, because he's going to push wide. And then once they enter the final third, you've got the likes of Minty and Matoma. They're going to try and do damage in the wide areas, but the midfield set up in possession, they're at quite a great distance with each other, and it's quite expansive, and it's designed to try and pull opposition players away from each other, and really sort of have an impact on how compact that opposition can be. It puts a lot of pressure on the ball retention of the players that are getting on the ball. You're asking a lot out of Wafer and James Milner when they get on the ball, but if they can do it, they can do it. And he doesn't necessarily always have the safety net of someone close by, which actually was a big feature of what Zirkzee was doing at Brighton, because he liked that box midfield that sort of packed the centre a little bit. So I think in transition, there's probably going to be some gaps for them. And if United are aggressive in that instance, I think they could do them. But they were very confident in possession, very confident playing out. I think Brighton are probably one of the gold standards when it comes to playing out under De Zerbi, at least anyway. They were snappy in the press, and they were bleeding lethal on the counter attack. So it's going to be interesting to see how United line up against them. Starman. Listen, I'm a big fan of Matoma, to be honest, but I actually think Yakuba Minte is the one that United have really got to watch. He came off at half-time last week due to a head injury. Now, concussion protocol is real, and if he's affected by that, which I'm filming this before the press conference where I'm sure he'll be asked about that, but if he's affected by that, then he won't feature. But if they don't think it's too bad and they don't think he's got a concussion, then he'll play. But he was absolutely electric. He got an assist on his Premier League debut. He's extremely quick, extremely sharp, constant threat with a real dangerous left foot. He can go both ways. He's very difficult to knock off the ball. He's got a very low centre of gravity. And, like Matoma, he can hurt you. And I think that's where Brighton will look to hurt you. Now, for United, I'm going to go with the same team I went with last week, actually. It wasn't the team that Ten Hag went with. It was 10 out of 11. But I want to see what I think this is United's strongest team is, and that would be Onana. That would be Mazraoui at right back, Delo at left back, with De Ligt alongside Martinez, a midfield of Casemiro and Menu, with Ahmad and Rashford on the wings, and Bruno and Mount down the middle. I think we line up like that, and I think Joshua Zirkzee comes on at the hour mark again, and probably a Garnacho at the hour mark again as well. Now, a lot of people have really got an issue with Marcus playing at the moment. I thought he played all right last week. I don't think he was fantastic, but I thought he was all right. And I still think his decision-making is far better than that of Garnacho's. And for everyone who goes, oh, you obviously hate Garnacho, it's not the case, is it? It's just not the case. Or is Marcus is English? Okay, cool. Well, am I not critical of Harry Maguire or Luke Shaw? Like, it's because it's an academy, yeah. Remember where Garnacho came from again? Okay. Yeah, no, it's just a preference. I think Garnacho's got some real talents, but I think he was overplayed last season, and I don't think his game matured in the way it could have done or should have done. I think Rashford is still very underappreciated, and if Marcus didn't play well in the slightest last season, scored the exact same amount of Garnacho, who people are absolutely crying out for him to start, which tells me that if Marcus can even have an average season, it's better than what we're going to get from Garnacho. So I'm going with Marcus, and I actually think Marcus is the match winner for United. His pace on transition, which Garnacho offers as well, is a massive asset, and I think the match is really suited to Marcus. I think he just has to get engaged, and we can start to get him into form. I wouldn't be surprised if he comes away from this game with 1 or 2 goal involvements, because I think it really, really suits him. If you are looking for a great sports betting experience, then sign up with Hollywoodbets and enjoy this incredible welcome offer. Get to £10 in free bets with your first free qualifying bet losses. And here's how it works. If you sign up using my link in the description, deposit using your card and place your first 3 bets on the sportsbook, each bet must be at least £10 with minimum odds of 1.5. These bets can be on any sportbook market and will qualify you for the offer. For each of your first 3 bets that you lose, you'll receive a £10 free bet up to £30 in free bets. And your free bets are valid for multiples as well as at least 3 events where each leg has minimum odds of 1.4. The total odds for the bet must be at least 3.0. Listen, there's more. If you place at least 2 qualifying bets, you'll also get 20 free spins on a slot game, John Hunter and the Book of Tut respin. To claim the offer, just make sure that you place your qualifying bets within 3 days of signing up to Hollywoodbets. For full terms and conditions, check the link in the description. Remember, you must be 18 or older to register, and always gamble responsibly. If you need support, visit gambleaware.org. Now, how do we beat them? I think you have to exploit the high line, because that's what's going to be there, and it's going to be a big thing. They play a very high line. They try and squeeze the pitch. You've got the pace to exploit it, so let's use that pace to exploit it. You've got to time the runs, pick out the passes cleverly, but we should get opportunities on the transition, especially with how expansive and how aggressive they get forward, and with the gaps that they're going to leave in midfield. I think it's open for us there. And conversely, we have to be compact. The defensive shape against Brighton is vital because they're going to put a lot of numbers forward. So you're going to have to be concentrated. You're going to have to be compact. They will be better exploiting the lapses in concentration that United had than Fulham were, because we did give them a couple of opportunities. If you give Brighton those opportunities, they are going to take them. But then it's got to be looking to the wide battle. The game will be won and lost in the wide areas. Wingers versus fullbacks at both ends of the pitch. Matoma and Minty against Dalot and Mazraoui, and then Rashford and Ahmad I expect it to be versus Veitman and Hysjelwood. I think that's where the game gets won and lost. Ahmad could have a real interesting role in this one, especially with those central dribbles that he likes to burst into the box with. That's what we want to see. I think that'll be good. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. See you in the next one. Laters. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.